During this lesson, you will learn the different modes of operation of the autothrottle system. These will include takeoff, N1 or thrust modes, and the two speed control modes, mode control panel speed and flight management system speed. This will be followed by arm mode, descent retard mode, landing flare retard mode, and go around mode. Takeoff mode is engaged by pressing either of the takeoff go-around switches on the throttles with the aeroplane on the ground, the autothrottles armed, and the desired N1 thrust limit selected from the Flight Management System computer display unit. The autothrottle annunciation changes from arm to N1, and the thrust levers advance toward takeoff thrust. The autothrottle sets the computed N1 value. Between 60 to 80 knots, the autothrottle annunciation changes to throttle hold to indicate the autothrottle cannot change thrust lever position, although they can still be repositioned manually. After takeoff, the autothrottles remain in throttle hold until 400 feet radio altitude is reached and 18 seconds have elapsed since liftoff. Autothrottle annunciation then changes from throttle hold to arm. Reduction to climb thrust can now be made by pressing the N1 switch. Flexible takeoff, or takeoff flex, is a facility to allow the autothrottle to calculate and provide a reduced thrust takeoff by entering an assumed temperature into the flight management system or the thrust mode limit panel. The autothrottle maintains thrust at the N1 limit selected from the Flight Management System computer display unit. N1 is enunciated for the autothrottle, and the N1 switch illuminates. Pressing the N1 switch changes the autothrottle mode from N1 to arm. If an engine fails while the autothrottle is in the N1 mode, the thrust lever of the failed engine, the left one in this case, will advance forward a few degrees and return to or below the other thrust lever position. The speed mode is available throughout the flight once the takeoff phase is completed. Pressing the Mode Control Panel Speed Select switch selects the speed mode if compatible with the engaged Automatic Flight Director System pitch mode. MCP speed is enunciated for the autothrottle, and the speed mode switch illuminates. The speed, or Mach, shown in the Mode Control Panel IAS Mach display is the target speed. The autothrottle will not set power above the displayed N1 limit. However, the autothrottle can exceed an N1 value that has been manually set by the N1 manual set knob. If an engine fails while the autothrottle is in a speed mode, both thrust levers advance together to maintain the target speed. The Flight Management System speed mode is an autothrottle mode which is commanded by the Flight Management System during vertical navigation operation. When engaged, the Mode Control Panel IAS Mach display is blank. The airspeed cursors are positioned at the Flight Management System's commanded airspeed, and the autothrottle maintains this commanded speed. FMC speed is enunciated in the autothrottle flight mode enunciator. The autothrottle is limited to the N1 value shown on the N1 gauge on the engine instruments and crew alerting system display. The autothrottle enunciates arm when the autothrottle arm switch is at arm and no autothrottle mode is engaged. The thrust levers can be manually positioned without interference from the autothrottle system while arm is enunciated. The autothrottle automatically transfers to arm from the speed, or N1 mode, when the mode is deselected by pressing the respective mode selector switch while the switch is illuminated. The autothrottle engages and enunciates retard during level change and vertical navigation descents. Retard changes to arm when the thrust levers reach the aft stop, or when manually prevented from reaching the aft stop. During landing, the retard mode engages, reduces thrust, and enunciates retard shortly after flare mode engagement, or at 27 feet radio altitude, whichever occurs first. During a non-precision or visual approach, with flaps extended to 15 or greater, and the automatic flight director system not in altitude acquire or altitude hold, the autothrottle retard mode engages at 27 feet radio altitude. The autothrottle automatically disengages approximately 2 seconds after landing touchdown. With the autothrottle arm switch at arm, the autothrottle go-around mode is armed when descending below 2,000 feet radio altitude, with or without the automatic flight director system engaged. Once armed, the autothrottle go-around mode can be engaged until 2 seconds have elapsed after landing touchdown. Pressing either takeoff go-around switch engages the autothrottle go-around mode. Thrust, or N1, is enunciated for the autothrottle, and the thrust levers advance to the reduced go-around thrust setting. This reduced setting produces a 1,000 to 2,000 feet per minute rate of climb. After reaching reduced go-around thrust, pressing either takeoff go-around switch the second time signals the autothrottle to advance thrust to the full go-around N1 limit. After reaching reduced or full go-around thrust, the autothrottle go-around mode can be terminated by selecting another automatic flight director system pitch mode, or when altitude acquire enunciates engaged. During this lesson, you learned about the different autothrottle modes, including takeoff, N1 or thrust, mode control panel speed, flight management system speed, arm, descent retard, landing flare retard, and go-around.